This is kind of talking about your career coming up as a woman official and what you're seeing now in that world now, and how we can best promote and get more women into officiating. So,
Basically, you had asked how long I've been in officiating. And I honestly, I was like, ooh, I got to go look that up, and it's probably something I should pay more attention to and really notice things and that kind of stuff instead of just next, let's do it, that kind of thing. 2005, I walked off the court at William Woods in June or July and went to camp and got some JUCO and SLIAC games, and was fortunate enough to actually work the first round of the SLIAC. And probably if they knew that at that time, they'd said somebody else. So, for me, as a coming off of being a coach to a referee, I think that's one of the best things for me as an official that happened to me is I get it. And I understand, these coaches have many hats, and I respect and appreciate the Division III, the NAI, levels, because I lived it. And if the floor was going to be mopped, I was going to mop it. If the kids were going to get there, I was going to drive them. If they're going to eat, we got to figure it out. We have to raise money, all those things. So, I get that. And I know why sometimes the frustrations may come out, because mine did often as a coach. But 2005 is when I started, had no clue. And what we do, we call it fake it till you make it. Do the best you can. You catch on to mechanics and hope you know the rules, and you put people. I was graced enough to have really good mentors around me, both starting out, having crew chiefs that took care of me and kind of talked me through it and taught me along the way, because that's a big part about officiating is you learn on the fly. And that's a scary thought, but basketball players are too. Coaches, they learn in a classroom to coach, but they don't learn those experiences. As far as how to handle things, or when's a great time to take a timeout, or should I have taken a timeout, or should I get a tee now? All those things. You look at the world of basketball, it's on the fly, and because nothing is a script, and we have rules, and the number one rule is don't break a rule. So don't kick a rule. And so, we have to be really good at the rules and take a lot of time learning the rules. But end of the day, as far as things you do on the court, there's always something new. Every game, there's something new. All the way up to working a championship game of Missouri Valley this year, something new happened, and we're like, whoa, we haven't seen that one before.
Right. Then you talk about, the rules, and those are changing on a yearly basis.
Oh yeah, every other year now. At least they gave us a break on every year, but every other year. So this year's a rule change, and we'll see what we changed 2 years ago.
So what made you kind of want to go from the coaching to the officiating?
Well, at the time, I knew I was getting to the point. I loved coaching and I loved what I was doing, but sometimes I think you have to reflect and go, it's not enough, or I need a change, or I'm not being the person I want to be, or there's something holding me back, or I'm not living my full life because I'm dedicating everything to that piece of my puzzle. And there's got to be more of a puzzle out there than just 100% into one thing. And so, I kind of got a little burned out. It was at the time that I either needed to change institutions, and the institution was so good to me. I was so fortunate to have a great president there and was backed, all those things that, it made a hard decision for me. But yet the last couple of years I was in it, I was like, I could stay connected to the game, and I could be that bad. I could make that bad call. I could do that, and I always joke, if this didn't pan out, I could go be a weather woman somewhere and make bad calls and bad, all day long.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
But no, it was one of those that I just thought I was going to stay connected with the game. When I got into refereeing, I thought it was going to keep me close to home. I'd be, something I'm doing 3, 4 nights a week, and I get to have some buddies that I hang out with, all that stuff. Well, 2 years later, it slapped me in the face, and I'm sitting in New York City, not knowing, this country girl, not knowing how to get around. So, out there to do a basketball game. So, but it was just one of those things in life. I was like, I'll have a teaching certificate. I've got a master's degree. I need to make myself uncomfortable and go do something different. So actually at that time I was a real estate broker. I had gotten a real estate broker's license. I was doing things with houses, that kind of stuff. And it was something I was going to do on the side. And I thought, I want to stay connected to the game. I don't want to let the game go because I do love the game. I just need to readjust what my position is with the game.
Sure.
Yeah. So it led me down this path.
Speaking of which, now you're coming up on, 15 years, almost 2 decades as an official, the coaching previously. Can you tell us what it was like? Were there any experiences that stuck with you or issues that you had coming up as a women's coach, as a women's official, that, you had to overcome, that you faced? Can you tell us anything about that?
It's challenging. And in the first thing, and I've had a few of my former athletes get into officiating because I'm like, nobody's going to yell at you any more than I did. Come on. The first thing that they've all said, well, I don't want people to yell at me. I don't want to be, whatever fans say. And, you have to have thick skin to do this job. Number one. And I think sometimes, what they say, the females don't like that. And, we have too many feelings. I can say that. You can't, you get in trouble. But it's tough at times not to take it home with you or take it personal, those kind of things. So you have to say, I'm going to go in, I'm going to do the best job I can. I'm not going to be perfect. And you have to commit yourself to, I'm not going to be perfect, but I'm going to try my darndest to be perfect. But I can't see. A lot of it's about angles, and sometimes you just can't see, and you make the best call or you don't call or whatever. But end of the day, every time you blow the whistle, 50% of the crowd is going to be mad at you because you didn't do something in their favor. And everybody has their angel out there playing. That little darling daughter would never do that, that kind of stuff. So you kind of have to have a light heart and those kind of things. Coming up as a female, there wasn't, and that was another thing that drew me to it. There wasn't any females that I could go, I would like to have that female work my game, or, that there was somebody that looked like my players on the court that they could say, I feel comfortable going and talking to them because, we ask players, come talk to us. I want to hear what you think I'm missing. I don't want you to get frustrated, those kind of things. Talk to me and be a person. And, so that was another big reason of getting in there. And I think that's a huge part of what's happening now is whenever I actually got to really work in games, and I remember where I was, but it was like the first year, and it was right at halftime or coming out of halftime. I was putting the ball in play, and a young lady came up to me and she goes, "It's really good to have a female official." And I was like, she goes, "Wow, we can do this." And I was like, as a player myself, I never had any female officials, so I just never thought too much about it. As a coach, I wanted to promote those people that were trying a profession. But then to hear that the players now are noticing it and they want that as well, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I bet. Great to see, someone like you out there so you can relate in that position. Along those lines, within the recent couple of years, we've seen Natalie Sago officiate an NBA game. We've seen Sarah Thomas in NFL. What has it been like to see women given the opportunity to officiate at the highest levels?
Well, I mean, it's great, and it takes those people in management positions to say, we're going to put our toes in uncomfortable water as well, and I don't care what career a young female wants to do, whether it be whatever it is, but you have to go out trying to be the best it is. but you have to work extremely hard and twice as hard or 3 times as hard as sometimes the males, just because that's the way it is in society. But the fact that the executive sides, the management sides are starting to say, hey, they deserve it too. They're not going to be given it, because no way am I going to send as an assigner, send a female out there to fail. There's no way. We have to earn it, and you don't want to put somebody in a position they're not ready for. And it's kind of like the same thing. These Natalie and what's her name?
Sarah.
Was given the opportunity because they had a lot of people that believed that females could do it too. So it's not like we're out there on a ship by ourselves and, burning things and all that. We have to find the right people. One of the first things I was told when I first got in officiating, you learn the people you can trust, and you keep a very small family. And I got burned thinking my family was bigger at one point, and then I really realized how tight my family is. Referee family is very tight, and very supportive if you find the right family, that kind of stuff. But to see those, women given that opportunity and being successful is outstanding, because then again, we go back to, I never saw anybody doing that. I never thought I could do that. And now there's people doing that because, you don't have to be as uncomfortable to get started these days as you used to. There's opportunities
right?
to be seen now. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Yeah.
Couple more questions for you.
Yeah.
When you were coming up, and you mentioned it there about your tight family, your referee family, were there any mentors or people that you kind of looked up to, kind of helped you along in your growth professionally, that you want to recognize right now?
One of the first ones was Tom Sullivan, and he worked the SLIAC forever. He was one of those guys I knew I could go, does this person know what he's talking about when he told me I was completely wrong, or was I just completely wrong? And don't listen to that guy, or yes, take that, be educated by it. That's one of the first ones. Kerry Nichols, who, and I'm just using the SLIAC names, some of the people that work in the league. He's kind of turned into like a brother of mine. We can give each other a hard time, but he actually, whenever I didn't know what I was doing and I got into the high school association in Columbia, he's the one kind of took me under my wings in there. He's like, hey, don't be giving her junior high games. She doesn't want, she's going to do college mechanics. Don't do that. And I didn't have to bear that burden of trying to be a big dog, but I knew where I wanted to be. And I knew the rules of college, and I had no clue what I was doing in high school. And, I know some of the best officials that are high school officials. And what I tell everybody at my camps and in training is, I don't care what you officiate, just be the best official you can be. If you want to be at home every night and you want to be a junior high official, or you want to be a high school official, whatever you want to do, just know the rules and be really good, because those young ladies deserve it. They're working their tails off. That's a big night for them. Right. It may not be your biggest game of the week that you're working, but for that night, for that 40 minutes is what we say that is their night, and the coach and the players have worked all week for that that night. So I don't want to hear anybody slacking off.
So now you mentioned on just a little bit ago, you're not only an official, but you're an assigner of officials. Can you tell us a little more about what that job entails?
Yeah, so a few years ago, as I just went from not doing real estate anymore, because with my Division I travel, I'm gone a lot of the wintertime, about 5 months out of the year. I'm on the road across the country, that kind of thing. But then in my summertime, I wasn't around people. It was quiet. You go from the hustle to, just kind of doing some side gigs to make a little money on the side or whatever. And I realized at that point, I miss teaching. I miss coaching side, but I don't want to coach anymore. But I wanted to teach. I wanted to give back. And I felt like that was a thing that was missing in our area. Our area really needed training. There was a signing going on and there were some camps going on, but just teaching. And with me being in it full time, I was firsthand on, the knowledge or the rules and all that kind of stuff. So, I got interested in assigning. And again, we talked about mentors, that kind of stuff. I have some really good friends that help me get established at the Division I level. And so when I host camps and run teaching and training, I bring those guys. They're coming out of Oklahoma, Ohio, Kentucky, Indiana, all over the place, that have been a big deal to me in my life. And I want to share those people that are a big deal to me with these guys and go, hey, if we can get her to officiate and get her actually somewhat successful, we can help you. So we have a good time at it. It is, so I'm on the road when I'm hosting officials at institutions, and that's a little nerve-wracking, but yeah, I just have to be real organized in my paperwork and scheduling. A lot of the training happens in the summertime, and it's so fun. Some of these people, I get to break down clips with them and talk plays with them, or they may have something happen in a different league, and the fact that they trust me to talk through it, that, hey, this is how you need to handle this, and this is what you need to do, with different situations. So, and I guess it's the motherly side of me. I'm getting older. I'm really enjoying seeing these guys grow up, develop, and officiating, I feel like, is getting better and better in our area, more committed in our area, committed to our leagues, those kind of things. And I just wanted to give back. I want to help anybody any way I can, and I'm straight up honest. So if they don't want the truth, they don't work for me.
My final question for you, Missy. It's become aware in the most recent years that there's been kind of a downturn in officials in the officials pool. Taking aside the travel that you have to do, and hearing about the great calls you might make or miss from the fans in the stands. What are the pros? What do you get out of officiating? Why would you recommend someone that might be interested in this profession pursuing it?
Well, a small story is, I always try, well, I did, we'll see if we get back to it, is I always took my mom on one trip with me. And so I was at Rhode Island, like on a Thursday, and then I was at Fordham in New York on a Saturday. And so we were going to take the train, and of course, blizzard hits. And my mom is from a small town, small family farm, hasn't traveled that much. So the fact, it used to be, oh, Missy, where are you going? Missy, are you okay? Do you need a call? Mom, I'm fine. I'm fine. So whenever we're sitting at the airport and I'm rebooking and talking to referees, and I'm texting one and emailing one, and on the phone, another phone, Mom, give me your phone. We got to figure this out. And we're plane, trains, and automobiles figuring this out. Next is a snowmobile, Mom, get ready, because we're going. And she just looked at me, she goes, you have really good people around you. And I was like, yes, I do. I said, we can help, we'll help each other out. People that commit to refereeing, and you're not in it for that ball game, and you're not in it for that check, whatever. You stay in it because of really good people. And when I first got in it, somebody asked me that same question because they were surprised I got out of coaching. And what was the first thing I've always said is, wow, they're really good people. Because as a coach, I didn't realize that. I just figured they were, they didn't. You're just there for me tonight. It's all about me. Da, 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 da. Now get out of here. That kind of thing. And then once I got to know these guys, they're just really good people, and the people will keep you in it. And, I've had a few friends retire these last couple of years, and still to this day, driving down the road, they're calling me, or I'm calling them, and, hey, what about this rule, that rule? How's your family? Keeping up with each other. So the people alone will keep you in it. Next thing is it keeps you connected to the game, giving back to a game. I think women's basketball does so much for young females, and learning, I've been on job interviews before, and I've been a part of a committee. And the first thing I'm going to say is, were you part of a team? and then, what position player were you? Those kind of things. And you learn a lot about a player and their commitment to others with that. Now, do you have to be a player? No. I know some really good officials that just know the game and understand the game and really good in the rule book and, that kind of stuff. So, but there's so many great things now. In February, I might say, I don't know why I do it. I'm tired, I'm exhausted. but sitting here, getting ready to go to Memorial Weekend, it's great.
Well, Missy, thanks a lot for all the information, the stories, the experiences. We really appreciate it. Before we go, is there anything else you'd like to mention to anybody out there?
I mean, for me, the biggest thing is if somebody, another thing that held me back is I didn't know how to get started. And I think it's hard for people to figure out how to get started, and maybe they go down the wrong avenue. And so, if you want to share my name, number, anything like that, you're free to do so, because I just want them to have an opportunity to find out how to get started. And I've brought people into my camps and stuff, and all they wanted to do was make some money in rec ball, but if you kind of know what you're doing, and you kind of look like you know what you're doing, people leave you alone for the most, so we can give you some basics, that kind of stuff. And, high school kid made a lot of money working rec ball, and that was good enough. I'm great with that. At least that she got to enjoy her rec games that way as much as you can. So
that's right. Yeah. Well, thank you again. Enjoy the rest of your summer, and we look forward to seeing you back on the court this fall.
You bet. Thanks for giving me a buzz and let me be a part, and anything I can do, holler.
Will do.